Finally, question number 3. This is from Kegside Sports at Kegside Sports. How real is the market for Joe Milton? Joe Milton, of course, the Patriots' backup quarterback. The Patriots did sign Josh Dobbs to be the backup for Drake May. My understanding of that is, and that signing was they wanted to create as healthy an environment for Drake May as possible. Give the guy a resource in the room, and Josh Dobbs can very much be the resource in the room. And you've heard of veteran quarterbacks being that guy in the past. Josh McCown was that quarterback for a lot of young guys over the years. Derek Anderson was that guy for Cam Newton for years in Carolina. Wound up doing a short stint being that guy for Josh Allen in Buffalo because the Buffalo guys were from Carolina and they knew Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane did what Derek Anderson could bring to the table for Josh Allen. So Josh Dobbs is going to be that guy for Drake May this year. I think it's a smart signing to put that guy in the room. And like you said, now the question becomes what becomes of Joe Milton. I don't think anybody saw enough of Joe Milton last year. And he looked impressive in the last game to say, yeah, like we would bring him in to be our starting quarterback. And it's interesting. I think this plays into a little bit of the dynamic that you have in the draft where a ton of quarterbacks get drafted in the first round. And then in the second and third rounds, you look over the years historically, there just aren't numbers. Like guys just don't get drafted in that area. Well, why is that? Because if you look at a guy and say that guy can be our long-term starter, you're probably not going to wait until the second round to take him. You're probably going to take him in the first round. Like Bo Nix was a second-round talent for a lot of teams. The Broncos said he can be our long-term starter. We're not chancing it. We're taking him in the first round, right? So you don't. If you see that guy out there, you're not going to risk waiting for him 9 times out of 10. You're going to take him in the first round. And then if you don't see a guy that way, if you think a guy is just maybe a placeholder type of quarterback or a bridge quarterback, you probably aren't going to spend a second or a third round pick on him. That's probably more 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round territory. So generally teams don't spend second and third round picks on quarterbacks that they don't think can be the long-term answer. And I don't know that Joe Milton has shown enough that he can be the long-term answer. Would somebody take a swing on him and maybe throw a 4 or a 5 their way? Maybe if you thought a lot of them coming out of college, you really liked what you saw in the season finale last year, that would make some sense. But I just think the way these things work, it would be really hard to ask another team to give up a 2 or 3 for him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you need a lot more evidence of what he can do at the NFL level before you'd be willing to give up that sort of capital to go and get a quarterback who at best was scattershot in college and seen by most teams as evidenced by where he was taken as not a great prospect in the draft.